Hello, you are listening to the Blue Monday podcast. This is a weekly audio show looking into the exciting happenings of Ipswich Town Football Club. My name is Benjamin Bloom and I'll be here each and every Monday with ITFC aficionado David Diamond for a sometimes irreverent but always informative hour or so of football conversation. So make your Monday a Blue Monday.
Like it, Ben, like that.
We're in. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is the opening Blue Monday podcast. I hope you've lasted this far. If not, go away anyway. So this is going to be an Ipswich Town podcast. I don't know if there is one. I haven't done my research.
No, don't know.
Don't know. Anyway, myself and David are big Ipswich Town fans, and we're going to chit-chat. We're going to give our opinion. Other opinions are available. Basically, don't troll us. No, do troll us. Do troll us. It's funny.
And we welcome a troll.
We welcome a troll. So, David, hello.
Hello, Ben.
He's actually gone for the formal handshake there.
Oh, yeah.
You have been an Ipswich Town fan for
Oh, my goodness me. Probably about 45 years, which really does give my age away there, Ben.
Wow,
yeah. Wow. So I just really into the Bobby Robson era, I should say. I saw my first game around about 1970. So what was that?
Wow.
A season or two into the Robson era, I guess.
And we are somewhere down the road. Dave's going to do a few special bits and bobsies, some interesting top tens. Again, other opinions are available. Don't trouble. So this is kind of like the pre-season preview show. Nothing's happened, so we can't get anything wrong yet.
Well, there've been some friendlies, but
there's been some friendlies, but they're kind of.
Do we really want to comment on those? I mean, I don't really think they're
kind of an irrelevant.
Much really, do
yeah,
they?
Right.
No.
But what I did just want to do is just a quick little 2 minutes, which will turn into 5 minutes, about last season. So let me give you my take on last season, and then you come back with yours, Dave.
Go for it.
Basically, couldn't have gone much better than it did. He's set the bar really, really, really high, and well, it's either going to go one of two ways.
Yeah, I just think, with the size of squad they had and the money, the perceived money that they spent, albeit obviously they spent money on wages, but
right.
The big thing at the end of the season was that we're in the playoffs with a squad that, with a first 11 or squad of 14 that cost 1110 grand.
Right, yeah,
which was incredible.
Which was a really annoying statistic.
Well, it was,
because I'm sure David McGoldrick's signing on fee wasn't
sufficiently more
£0,
but
I think the press got hold of that, didn't
they?
But I just thought it was brilliant last season, because it was like the first time in about 10 years, because let's be honest, it's been really shit, hasn't it?
It's been crap.
It's been crap.
No, I mean, I think it was the first time that we really sort of competed, really, and we really,
it's the first time I cared about the team. First time I'd go and watch and think, that's my team.
Yeah.
I don't care if they lose or win, that's my team. Whereas under Magilton was all right, but under Jules Keane was just pathetic.
He wasn't. He wasn't. He just wasn't the right man for the club. The club didn't fit him. He didn't fit the club, did he?
There's going to be a common theme over the year. If we get short, we'll just bash Roy Keane, who apparently is not a bad manager, but managed badly at Ipswich.
I think.
You tell me what that means, Roy. You fucking idiot. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Ben said that. That was Ben.
Oh, come on, Roy Keane. Deary me. You were a terrible manager at Ipswich, and everybody knows you were. Controversial start there. So. Even really at the end, losing to Norwich, it was kind of like, well, they've got all this Premier League squad, and we've got this.
Yeah, I mean, Norwich
in
some respects. If you look at the Norwich squad, and when Norwich played us early on in the season, last August, third or fourth game,
it's easy, wasn't it?
I mean, it was 1-0, and it could have been 4 or 5. And I was with my lads, boys, sitting with them, and I said, look, I said to them, they're going to walk this.
If they do not, they nearly messed it up, didn't they?
Honestly, and to be fair to them, I know this isn't about Norwich, it should be about Ipswich, but just quickly, the change of manager, they got the manager in, an unknown guy from Scotland, and it just totally galvanised their season, and off they went. But we with the squad we had, I think everyone would agree we overachieved. Really. However, after the Brentford game, Boxing Day, we were top for an hour or whatever it was,
Right.
So. Yeah, there was always going to be, it's those games January, they're really bad, I think, January, February, and that's where we, started to slip away. And in the end, I think we did really well to stay in and make the playoffs.
To hang in there, yeah. So
and that could have.
I was thinking par last year would have been about ninth. I thought ninth would have been okay last year.
Yeah, and it would have been an improvement on the previous years, which I think was 15th, 13th, something like that. Would have been an improvement.
And it was sixth in the end, yeah?
Yeah, sixth, just. Because obviously Darren Bent missed the penalty for Derby, which ironically probably would have kicked them into the game against Reading, and they would have pipped us, and we would have fucked it up at Blackburn, which we almost did, incredibly, but there you go.
So, I've got some names written down here, and you're really going to have to inform me about who these 5 new Ipswich players are.
Yeah, I'll do my best. I haven't seen them yet, but I'll do my best. Go for it.
So,
go for it.
Can you even pronounce this? Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Just quickly, he just sounds far too middle class to be a football player.
I love footballers with double barrel names.
Who's your favourite footballer with a
Sean Wright Phillips, clear.
Chris Bart-Williams.
Oh my God, I forgot Chris Bart-Williams.
There's got to be a
feature
one.
in the coming weeks. That should be a feature. Footballers with
just
double barrel surnames.
Chris
Bart-Williams. Yeah.
Can you think of? It's Sean Wright Phillips. I'm not really.
Bradley Wright Phillips. Can't think. They're both playing in the same team in America now.
In New York.
Yeah.
New York, is it?
Yeah.
The New York retirement Bulls.
I think so. I think Lampard came on as sub for one of them actually in his first game, didn't he? I don't know.
I'm not having. Sean Wright Phillips cannot be the best player with a double barrel surname.
We'll get back to that. Get back to that. Anyway, where were we? I've forgotten.
Ainsley, mate. This guy's a winger, yeah.
He's a winger, and he's a kid from Arsenal, so he's going to be technically good, isn't he?
Right. Yeah. How old is he?
I think 17.
It's ridiculous. 17.
I
couldn't even tie my shoes.
I haven't seen him play.
17.
I know one or two people I know have been on one or two of the friendlies at Cambridge and Colchester.
Is he left wing or right wing?
I think he's predominantly right side, and he looks good. But he's only 17. And the thing is, with the Championship, it's a hard league, man. It's hard. Yeah. So,
but with these loan players, Dave, it's a bit weird sometimes because, like, in the Championship, you see loads and loads of them, and there's Jack Wilshere every now and then, but then there's Paolo Venazza and these guys who.
Yeah, I know what you mean. The guys that just it's a classic. Harry Kane, for God's sake, Harry Kane kicked around. He was at Millwall. He was at Norwich.
And who's the other Tottenham guy? Andros
Townsend. Who, ironically, under Keane, when he played at Ipswich, looked quite good. I think he had an injury or something. He must have played about a dozen games. He looked all right, actually.
Right.
But no, I know what you mean. Seldom these loans players that kick around the Championship and even League One. Only the real exceptional ones seem to make it, like Kane. Where did Kane come from last year, for Christ's sake?
Ashley Cole playing for Palace. He was playing left wing. He was awesome.
Yeah, I saw it. It was brilliant. He played. I think he played in that game. Might have been the game we got promoted. 1-0 Johnson scored, I think. It was the game that just before the playoffs.
Yeah.
One of the games just before that, a night game, I seem to remember.
I just remember Wayne Brown pinging a series of long diagonal passes.
He had a dynamite left foot, but anyway, we're digressing again.
Yeah.
So I think
is he going to play that many games, really?
Well, it seems like it.
Really?
I don't know. It seems that if you go by the starting 11 in some of these friendlies, it seems he's going to start. Seems like he's starting with him and the other winger they got on loan. One of the sort of make weights in the Mings deal. This Fraser,
yeah. Go on to Fraser then.
Who I saw play last year at Portman Road, and he ripped Chambers apart at right back. Which, all right, comment how you want about Chambers, but as an out-and-out defender, he's a defender. I think he's a centre half. He is a centre half. But Fraser, ran him ragged at times, and Bournemouth was so much the best side I saw down there last year. Fucking brilliant.
Deserved champion.
Oh, easily. Just quality of football, mate.
So
brilliant.
2 wingers there, but both borrowed.
2 wingers borrowed, but don't forget, Mick McCarthy, he's partial to wingers. I mean, when Wolves got promoted, obviously he had Jarvis and Kitely, and I think they pretty much played right through the season.
Right, yeah. Okay, who is this Josh Ewer?
I think he's a kid they've they've signed from Cardiff. He's a Welsh under.
He's a centre half. Yeah,
centre half. I think mainly he'll be a squad player.
He's back up.
Seems like he's a squad player.
Still going to be Smith and Berra.
I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. I mean, I think the general consensus is, and it certainly was last year, that Luke Chambers isn't really a fullback.
Agreed.
He's a centre half, and he's a right-sided centre half, and he would complement Berra, who's a left, who was outstanding last year.
He was great, wasn't he? At
God.
This level,
he was probably the best centre half I've seen. In over a season down playing for us since probably Macaulay and obviously The Rock, Jason DeVos.
Right,
it was just different.
Some good ones,
different class. Yeah, but no, he was brilliant. But at times, some people, give Tommy Smith a hard time. He's a committed player, but he has got.
He's got a blonde moment in him, hasn't he?
He's got a blonde moment, but I don't think that's his fault. He's a left-sided. What annoys me is he's a left-sided defender playing right side, playing on the right side of the two centre backs. And that's not easy for him, And you see a lot of the time, although I think his right foot's improving. When he's got time at the back. If he's got time to shift the ball to his left foot, he's fine. If he hasn't,
I just remember. I think was it last year? It was QPR at sort of Christmas time or something, and it's like goal kick goes up in the air. Don't let that bounce.
It was Derby.
Don't let it bounce.
Derby.
No, it's exactly the same goal against.
It wasn't QPR, was it? QPR.
Was that the year before?
Could have been the year before.
No, they were up. It was QPR. Who's the Arsenal guy? Traore. I think, and exactly
that was the year before.
That was the year before.
I think it's 3-0.
Yeah,
same. Yeah. It's the Derby one was clear. If there is a thing, and it's you see it, don't you? Don't let the ball bounce. Attack the ball. Just get something on it and get it away from the goal. But yeah, he got Martin got in, didn't he? Nipped in and scored. But
so I
think that'd be harsh on.
Do you think the second position then is?
I think it's up for grabs. I don't know, and I think it depends if again.
It's up for grabs now.
It's up for grabs. There's Michael Thomas. There's talk that I think maybe he wants to sign a proper fullback, a right back.
Right.
However, what we might get onto the next lad now. This lad, Jonas Knudsen, who apparently.
How do you say that?
Speaking of someone that went to the Utrecht game, I couldn't go yesterday. Someone that went to the Utrecht game yesterday, and he's got a throw like Andy
Dave
Legg.
Challoner.
Andy Legg. Do you remember Andy Legg?
I remember Andy Legg.
Yeah,
Andy Legg kind
Rory
of when he was at Ipswich, I think he was told not to do the long throw. He only did it like once in about 10 games. It's like we've paid to see you do the long throw.
Why would you do that?
But
apparently this kid's got a delap-like throw. Apparently, which that could be a useful.
He's like I'm a serious artist here. Look, listen to my songs. It's not all about the long throwing. Yeah,
like it or loathe it, that could be a good weapon. And apparently he's got a banging left foot. But he's 22.
Yeah,
he's played like 150 games for I think Esbjerg. I think he came from. He's got 2 Danish full caps, so he's a Danish.
Dave is kind of. I know. He could be great. He could, with someone moving country.
However, given our, I know Jewel signed Cresswell. Given our recent record with left
back factory,
we might have found another nugget. You never know, mate. You never know.
So the most interesting one really is Pittman.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
On paper. He's 27 and he's got 122 career goals.
Man,
on paper,
he's got 122 career goals and he's played about, I think, just shy of 300 games. I mean, that's decent. That's decent.
Why Bournemouth sold him then?
Yeah, they've got Callum Wilson and they've got the guy Wilson up front. He wasn't getting a game.
How many pros?
I mean, last year I think.
You tell me how many pros playing have got 122?
No, that's a great record. And to be fair, a lot of that's League One. To be fair,
doesn't matter. 120 goals that's being really good at football.
I know the stat. Well,
for like clearly, 8 years in a row. Isn't
clearly,
it?
Howe doesn't think he can score goals in the Premier League, which perhaps he can't.
So here's my thing, right? So on paper, he's the best forward out of. But this is we'll get onto the likely starting team. But it's going to be very interesting with the 4.
It is. It's going to be. It's
Cole,
great.
York, Sheringham, and Solskjaer. Yeah, right.
If only.
Anyway, let's come back to that, Dave. Let's go through what you think that.
How the team perhaps.
What you think the team.
Obviously, it won't be Saturday because obviously Berra suspended Saturday after the handball.
But the general. Who's going to play the most games?
So I think the goalkeeper is interesting. I think the goalkeeper position's up for grabs. Really, I mean, I'm not sure they really know who the best keeper is.
Surely he's got to be loyal to.
I don't think there's a lot to choose between Bielkowski and Gergen. I think maybe Bielkowski, games I've seen, perhaps is a bit more commands his area a bit better.
Yeah.
Gergen's a great shot stopper. I don't think there's a lot between them.
How many games did Gergen play?
I think they played probably hard to say. I think they probably played equal amount. But I think so. I think they played equal amount. I think he'll start with Bielkowski. I think in goal. I think he'll start with Bielkowski.
Back 4.
Back 4. Depends what happens, but I guess the back 4 he will start. I would assume with Chambers, Smith, Berra. Well, Berra can't play against Brentford Saturday, but Chambers, Smith, Berra,
and the Danish.
And I think the Danish kid, yeah. But that leaves Parr, of course, and Parr can play right back. So I mean,
midfield,
yeah.
And we actually own him.
And he is our player. He is our player, to be fair. So that's interesting. So that is a back four we actually own everybody.
Yeah.
So
that's an interesting concept, Paul Jewell, isn't it? Hey? But yeah, I kind of agree with you that on paper it could be that, but it could quite easily be Chambers. If Yoef does really well or someone gets injured,
I think the only thing is, maybe if Tommy Smith, and I like Tommy Smith, he's great. I think he's a wholehearted, committed player, but as you say, has had a mistake in him.
He's spent time developing him as well.
No, it's great. And why people like Tommy Smith, he's come through our academy, which is great. There's only him and Luke Hyam, of course. He's come through the academy. And is you love to see him playing, but yeah, he's got a mistake in him. But I think that was perhaps shown up last year because his fellow centre half Berra was just immense all season.
Right, yeah.
It's just incredible. How he didn't get in the team in it, the championship team in a year.
Things
that's
are a bloody
balls, isn't it?
Joke.
But how he never got in there, I do not know. So that's what I think the back four will be.
4-4-2 then, yeah.
I would say
it's Mick. 4-4-2.
Well, you'd think so, but then midfield, I don't know. Will he go with the two wingers? Will he start with Fraser and Maitland-Niles? I don't know. Skews, for me, has got to play Skews towards the end of the season. Was different class, mate.
And also, he's one of those players where you don't notice him so much if he's there, but when he's gone, the whole positional shape.
Do you know what? I first know I went to when we nicked the game at Watford last year. I always thought he was a steady player, and he used to play alongside. Generally, last year played alongside Hyam when Hyam was fit. And I went to the Watford away game, and the second half of the Watford game is when I said to my boss after the game, I said, "Great, we're 1-0. Just Cole Skews just ran the game, absolutely bossed the game." And I've seen him do it a few times at Portman Road. I think not enough. He's that good a player. Obviously, he scored one goal in about, I don't know how many games he's played for us now, 80 or 90 games, but he's not what a great goal that was.
He's not Matt Holland,
No, he's not Matt, and he's not Matt Holland. But they miss you right. I think when he's not playing, that's when you miss him. You do miss him.
Do you think that Bishop is going to be playing 40 games?
No. I don't think so. No. Someone said yesterday. I think he looked like he was struggling a little bit yesterday. So I think it's hard. I mean,
how old is he now?
He's 18, 19 now. I mean, to come in as he did last year, really early on last year. I think it was the Derby game, which is like second or third game where he came on as sub, and he was virtually almost an ever present since then. Yeah. Great player, great potential. Probably, in my opinion, needs to just bulk up a little bit. But he's a kid again. He's a hard league.
Do you think Skews sometimes has to play a little bit worse when Bishop's there, because there's a sense of
when you play worse, but not so progressive. Do you mean?
Yeah, well, he has.
But that's his game anyway.
He has to do less because Bishop's obviously such a good, clever player, but he's looking after.
So I know you can't say it was such an exceptional year. Any other year, in my opinion, if obviously Murphy didn't have the crazy year he had last year, and Bear Skews would have been my player of the season. He was brilliant, especially as I say towards the end of the season.
But do you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you put two midfielders together, and one has to do a different job depending on who.
I think, and again, I think a lot of people think that when Skews plays with Hyam in the middle, it's a bit too samey,
But Hyam's like a walking red card, isn't he?
He's committed, and to be fair, he struggled with injuries last year, didn't he? He barely played. I think after it was the Southampton where that screwed us up, didn't it? Because McGoldrick picked up an injury in that bloody replay. That's the worst thing that happened to it. Ironically, that was probably the worst result all season, the draw at bloody Southampton. Totally screwed McGoldrick. They're in the replay, and Hyam as well. And Hyam, up till that point, was really starting to be progressive and get forward and get in the box. And he scored at wing. I think he scored a couple of goals last year. But I think Hyam, when he gets in the box, has probably got goals in it. But he's obviously injured. He's obviously injured.
Do you think?
A nasty one.
How long is Hyam out for?
I think originally they said October. So he's I don't think
so
he's
if Bishop doesn't play, then it's going to be
Brew, maybe Brew, who I really like. I really like Brew. Yeah, he can. He's classy on the ball. He's got.
If you played with him though, you'd shout at him a lot for not tracking his runner.
I don't know. No, I don't think. No, he does. Of course, he does, because McCarthy doesn't have players that don't do that.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because I already like him. He's
sometimes
silky.
Last year, people are having a pop at the centre halves, and you think, well, are they that well guarded?
Yeah, it was an odd one. I mean, the classic last year on a few games was when Chambers was playing with Anderson. Maybe he'll come on to Anderson later, because I think that was an interesting one. And I saw yesterday he's actually got fixed up with a club. I was a bit surprised they let
especially after the playoffs as well.
Well, yeah, you can't say that. All right, he scored a goal against Norwich, but I think overall he was a bit of all the players that got let go. Anderson for me was the one. Ironically, I think Anderson could perhaps turn out to have been a half decent fullback actually.
You reckon?
He's up and I don't know, up and down. But Mick McCarthy, first and foremost, like fullback, obviously likes his fullbacks who can defend, well, which they should.
Right, yeah.
So, I forget where we were, lost my thread.
You were still centre midfield.
Oh, God, centre mid. So, centre mid, but then, oh, Christ, 4-4-2. So, centre mid, centre mid, you definitely... Skews is a definite, and then maybe Brew, maybe Bishop. If he plays the two wingers. If he plays Fraser and he plays Maitland-Niles, which, I don't know, God.
My opinion on this is that, you said earlier, the Championship's a hard league, right? But it's... Oftentimes, it's not that good. And when we talk about Sears in a minute, I think the same thing here. If you have a midfielder who can actually trap the ball, this sounds real simple, who can trap the ball and has a high pass accuracy over short distances, he'll be one of the better players in the division, because a lot of centre midfielders in Championship they're just kicking the hell out of people and the ball's going over the head. Yeah. So I think someone like Bishop or Breach. Remember when Jim Magilton, when we got promoted?
Yeah,
right.
It's different class.
But in that division, in the Premier League, most teams have got about three of.
Yeah, no, in that league, he was like that season. He was like a bloody quarterback, wasn't he? Almost.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But I just think in that division, if you've actually got that player, and we'll talk about having a pacey striker in that. But anyway, I'm kind of.
I'd say if he plays it, obviously, if he's going to go with the wingers, he's going to play the two wingers. Whether he will, I don't know. And I say Skews is a certain starter. And
do you not think his kind of cautiousness means he'll play one of the wingers, and then it'll be maybe Parr on the other side?
Yeah, he's got that option, hasn't he? And don't forget, as I said, this Maitland-Niles is a kid, 17. But then again, he threw Bishop in last year, and he did exceptionally well. So he's
just tell me one word answer. Who's going to play more games out of Bishop and Brew?
I'd probably say
it's struggling with the definition of a one-word answer here, Dave.
Brew.
Brew. I think I kind of agree.
Yeah,
I kind of agree.
Because I just think, I think towards the end of it depends what's happened during pre-season. Towards the end of the season, I thought Bishop struggled a bit towards the end of the season, and I think maybe that was just a legacy of a season in the week in, week out. Tuesday, Saturday in the Championship. But I'd say this season perhaps Brew.
He had gambling stuff to do as well. And
we can't.
We can't. No,
allegedly.
Apparently, allegedly.
Lad.
Right, here we go. So 4 forwards here.
Well,
McGoldrick, Murphy, Sears, and Pittman. Right.
This goes back to midfield. So this almost knocks 4-4-2 out of that equation. Doesn't
He always plays 4-4-2.
Well, okay.
Always plays. Right. So here we go. Here's an argument that all 4 of those players are better than the other one. Yeah. McGoldrick is the most talented player in the whole squad in terms of skill,
in my opinion,
and technique,
in the whole bloody division.
And if he could run 100 metres slightly faster,
he'd be playing in the Premier League.
Right?
Question, yeah.
Murphy scored 1 million goals last year, right?
Unbelievable.
Pittman has got 122 career goals.
Yeah, okay.
And Sears, in that division,
are really good.
He's kind of like Michael Owen.
Yeah, potentially. So, a lot of potential there. Great signing there. Unbelievable signing.
What on earth is he going to do? And how's he going to keep them happy? How's he going to play them?
Well, he's going to start when Murphy's going to play, isn't he? Murphy's
after last year.
Yeah, Murphy's going to start. I think McGoldrick's going to start. I just don't know what he's going to do, but I honestly reckon he may go 4-3-3. Whether he does that away, I don't know. You're just not seeing it, are you?
Can't see that.
But how can he leave? I don't know. You can't leave McGoldrick. Murphy's going to play. I think Pittman. I don't think Pittman.
McGoldrick must be the highest paid player there, right?
You would think so. You would think so. Yeah,
so he wouldn't be on the bench.
No. So there you go, Murphy, McGoldrick. But then that leaves.
But Sears, I promise you, if you have a pacey forward who is finishing is above average, and you play him 46.
Quick.
Okay, not 46. Say you play 40 games in the Championship.
He'll score 15 goals.
He'll score 15 to 20 goals.
Well, he scored. He must have scored.
Not even in a good team. He just in a direct team playing against bad Championship centre halves.
with a lump alongside him. And And Murphy's not a lump. Murphy's far more than that. I mean, just some of the games I saw him play last year. He's just
silly.
He's unbelievable. It's just like a totally different
first
player.
game's definitely going to be Pittman and
Pittman and Sears.
Pittman and Sears up front. So
what do we know?
You think mainly. Is there not a bit of a worry here, right? So he starts with Murphy and McGoldrick, and it's 60 minutes into the first game against Brentford, and they're 1-0 down. Yeah. And he takes one of them out and puts another one in. Or
he won't do that. Well, he surely wouldn't do that. If we are that, he's got the luxury of bringing on a Sears or a Pittman, hasn't he? And going for it, Ben.
Yeah, God knows what's going to happen.
I don't know. It's a nice.
And also, Dave, if he's going to play 4-3-3, why has he loaned two wingers?
Well,
which can only play in a 4-4-2.
No, I know what you're saying. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what side lines up on Saturday. What will be interesting to see what the back four is, because of course Berra suspended.
So you think we might see Chambers in?
Possibly Chambers in.
But then if he's going to play right back all year. Again, just do.
I don't think he'll play the kid. I mean, I don't know this kid Yorworth is coming.
Just do a bit on Chambers for me, because I remember watching Monday Night Football and.
It's all right, Luke Chambers. We were watching. There was a bit of Jordan, my lad, taped it. He said, "Dad, that classic game, Football Gold on Sky, that the playoff game, Forest against Yeovil. Do you remember that game with Forest?
Marcus Stewart.
He must have been about 40 at the time." I know he's your favourite all-time player.
Goal doesn't move.
Preaching to the converted.
Goal doesn't move, Dave.
Preaching to the converted.
Still in the same place last time, Marcus.
I know. And Chambers was playing then. He's a young Luke Chambers, like 2000
playing centre half.
2007. Ironically, I think he might have been playing fullback.
But here's my point.
So he played left back for Forest. We digress. Alan Wright. Anyway,
here's my point, Dave. I'm watching Monday Night Football, and Jamie Carragher is doing this talk about fullbacks, and he said fullbacks, no one wants to play fullback when they start playing football. You're either a centre half who wasn't good enough, or you're a winger who wasn't creative enough.
I tell you what, I think Luke Chambers had a good season. Really, he didn't. All right, I said about Fraser earlier. I didn't see many games. I wanted to away game. I didn't see many games at Portman Road when he got.
But
taken
what about
to the
in
cleaners.
possession?
Yeah, he could. He's not. Yeah, he could be better. He could be better in possession, I guess.
I know he's the captain, and everyone loves him.
To be fair, crossing, I saw him ping over some great crosses last year. I saw him put some bad ones over, but I saw him ping some great balls over. Mick Lowe's just kind of player McCarthy loves. The kind of player that'll play every week for Mick McCarthy, because he's just committed. He's the captain. He's just a. He wants to win.
It's an odd one, isn't it? Because he's so beloved by the.
In the crowd, he's got a great rapport with the crowd.
Yeah.
I think he's a great. Great skipper. He's everything about him says he's a Mick McCarthy player through and through. So it's an odd one. I don't know. Yeah. I honestly think if they don't sign a fullback this week, which I don't know, a right back, I'm not sure he's after one. I think if Parr's fit, Parr will play right back. Chambers will move inside. Alongside Smith, which will be balanced, because it'll be Smith will move over to the left, Chambers will play right, and Knudsen will play. King Knudsen will play left back.
Weird. Do you think there's a scenario where he goes, right, okay?
It's not many seasons like this. I mean, pretty much last season. I was thinking back to the beginning of last season. You can almost pick the team. At the start of last year.
Well, I suppose it's a good thing.
It's Hyman skews in the middle.
Is there a scenario, though, where in the first game he goes, right, Chambers, Berra is suspended, go play centre-half, be man of the match, and you're going to stay centre-half?
Well, yeah.
And then the position's yours.
Yeah, well,
you're the captain. I'm not going to drop you.
No, I don't think you will. No, you won't. Yeah. That's a good shout. Well, there you go. Could he play a blind and play himself?
Yeah, right.
Play himself into the team. But that would be at the expense of of Smith, because he can't leave Berra out. He was just. I know I said about it before. He was just awesome last year.
Talking to one of my friends about this, and he says, "Well, think about it, Ben. It can only get worse because Berra and Murphy last season played the best season they'll ever play in their career, and they're going to regress to the mean."
Well, Murphy
can either of them play as well?
Berra, I think Berra can. I mean, Murphy's not going to score 27 goals again. I mean, of course he's not. He can't. Well, I'm saying he's not. I hope he does. But you just can't see. I mean, and again, I know we're talking about perhaps more about Berra, but some of the goals Murphy scored last year, he was scoring from everywhere.
Well, and just dribbling through and taking around the keeper and stuff.
Just incredible. But he No, yeah, I think Berra certainly can. Berra can.
Okay.
Yeah. But as for Murphy, I mean, Christ, 27 goals. Crikey, if Murphy scored again, sharing them around. If Murphy scored 15 goals this year, Sears scores 15, McGoldrick hits him with 15, you're going to be in the playoffs or even higher.
That might be more the case, don't you think? Yeah. Just do a quick one on Tyrone Mings. Do you think they sold the right player? Do you think that was the right business?
Other than
when last season ended, I was like, right, okay, so who are people going to want? Well, Murphy's probably too old to go to a Premier League team.
So
it's either going to be Mings.
Apparently Murphy's pretty well, say you read and in the press and stuff, his family's quite settled in Suffolk.
But
why would he want to go to Middlesbrough? But
Mings, Bishop or McGoldrick, and you think, well,
Bishop's
been injury prone, I mean, Bishop's very young.
This time last year, out of everybody, you'd have said McGoldrick, and apparently this was this deal with Leicester that didn't go ahead. Or
in January?
No. I think this was back in. This was back in the early transfer window. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
When there was the initial talk about Mings going, was it Palace? I think for something like 3 million or something like that. And back then, you thought, shit, 3 million, sell him, but. I mean, Mings had a great season. I think Mings will turn out to be a top class centre half. He's athletic. However, again, towards the end of the season, he had a mistake in him.
He was a walking yellow card in that playoff game as well.
It's a pressure game. But don't forget, he barely played the season before. Barely played. In fact, I saw his debut at Reading, I think, the very first game of the previous season. And he'd hardly played until, obviously, pretty much straight in the side last year. Obviously had a good pre-season, straight in the side. And he was great. He's just an athletic, great player, great left foot. However, when you see how much we sold Cresswell for, what a steal that was, And he walked away. I mean, we've got a couple of friends who are West Ham season ticket holders, and they said even before that, Hammer of the Year and the other West Ham awards, have said, "I will sweep the board." And I think he won 3 out of 4 or something. He's brilliant. He can't be far off. He can't be far off an England call-up.
Yeah,
he can't be. He really can't.
They'll turn
or
on
a bigger.
West Ham fans have a habit of doing that, don't they?
I don't think. I think so. I mean, and Baines didn't. To be fair, going back to that, Baines didn't have the greatest season last year. I think Cresswell is pretty close. If he'd got a transfer and gone to somewhere like a City or an Arsenal or somewhere like that, I think he'd be nailed on. But
it's
that
not going to happen.
Well, no, not going there. No, it's not going to happen. But like I said, for an England,
I thought Mings might have actually. I thought they would look at that and they'd think, they've got their quotas for English players. And
this is the ridiculous thing. This just shows, the fee, 8 million plus. Say you read another 2 million on top of that if he makes a certain number of appearances or if Bournemouth stay up and things like that. I mean, that's just unbelievable. Incredible, really, for one season. But that just shows what a premium the English players are. Right.
But I thought one of the top
clubs
would.
Well, if he has a good season, I mean, if he, and I'm sure, you're not Bournemouth, a club like Bournemouth, no disrespect to them, just being promoted. If a team like that, spend eight, reportedly 10 million on a player like Mings, he's going to start. And if he has a season, perhaps, for instance, like Cresswell had for West Ham, then I'm sure.
There's no reason why not. And I
honestly think he'll get a bigger but if he continues, I think he'll get a bigger move, and I think he'll someone like, I'm not saying like an Arsenal, like a Wenger or someone will convert him to a centre half, because I think he's got everything to be a centre half.
The thing with someone like Mings though is he can play well in a bad team. Do you know what I mean? The team can be playing badly, and because he's got this athleticism and do you know what I mean? He could be in a losing team and be the best player in the team. Do you know what I'm saying? He can still stand out because you think Bournemouth are going to be.
Yeah, it's funny, Ben. There weren't many games last year you come away thinking, God, Mings was outstanding today. He's head and shoulders the best player on the pitch. Not that many, not really. But
I'm trying to remember the one I saw when I'm like, God, that guy's. It was Brighton.
Oh yeah,
I went with you.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He was incredible.
He was incredible. He was good. He was good. I think again, like a bit like perhaps Bishop and one or two others. I think that was early part of the season. I think the long season, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, took its toll on him as well. Because again, he's 20. What was he? 22.
Yeah.
Just come from part-time football.
Who was he playing for?
Chippenham Town, I think. As a story, his story is Russell Osman's son or something played with him in a game, and Russell Osman being a town scout.
Didn't Russell Osman play saxophone on Baker Street?
I'm not sure. I think that's. Was that not
Holness.
William G? Was that not William G?
Bob Holness.
Bob Holness. Yes, right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So when I get William G. Stewart, that was 15-1. No,
Russell
Bob Holness,
Osman.
Blockbusters.
William
yeah, that's
G.
right.
Stewart, that is classic, isn't it?
I know,
That was a
but that was all
tough
bullshit.
game,
That was bullshit.
Yeah, it was a tough game.
15-1.
15-1, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and people would pick on. They'd take the weak links out.
Yeah, no, that was pretty hardcore.
Right, so Dave, you're going to embarrass yourself now and do some predictions for me. So, first things first, top scorer.
Top scorer next season for us, I think I'll go with Murphy again, probably.
Murphy. Well, if you're going for Murphy, I will go.
You're going for Brett Pittman because you love him, I can tell.
I don't love him.
Pittman love.
Brett look, if you can research it and tell me how many pro players in the top 92 clubs have
goals
scored
to game ratio.
Well, no, just total goals. Just the total goals.
Yeah.
They've got more than that. I bet it's not that many.
That's a good haul, mate. And he's only 20, you're right, and he's only 27.
27, yeah,
Yeah,
right. But I won't go for Pittman. I'll go for Sears.
Yeah, good shout.
I'll go for Sears.
Don't forget, McGoldrick's taking the penalties. But we don't get penalties. I think
do you not think
penalties
McGoldrick is going to spend at least 15 games injured?
Well, hopefully that's behind him, but yeah, I mean,
I hope so too.
Yeah,
because
the season before when he was absolutely brilliant. Again, he got injured. Was it Blackpool? Yeah, it was Blackpool at home. One of the worst games I think I've ever seen. And yeah, he hardly played after that. So I think I'll tell you what. Here's the thing. I think if McGoldrick stays fit and can play virtually a full season, we'll be there or thereabouts.
We'll come on to that. So you go for Murphy. I'll go for Sears.
Yeah.
Okay. Points. Oh, give me an over/under on. It was 78.
Last season was 78, wasn't it?
Give me an over or under.
Got some notes, haven't you? Yeah,
78. Yeah. 78 was 6th place. I think 2nd place was 89.
Yeah, and we snuck in. There was like 3 teams on 78, wasn't there?
Yeah.
We just snuck in there, didn't we?
Over or under.
I think
78.
Middlesbrough were 85. Middlesbrough were 4th on 85, something like that. I don't think. I don't know. Over. Go on. 80 points.
80.
Yeah, go on.
I'll go for 83. So we're both going for playoffs then, by the way.
Yeah, we're both going for playoffs.
Okay. Right. So then, position.
What final league position?
Final league position.
Well, if we're saying that number of points, you're saying 4th.
Okay, so I've got to. If I've said more points than you, then I've got to go for.
Well, it might be one of those seasons where 83 gets 2nd.
No chance.
Well, I don't know, but you never know.
No chance. There's so many games. You can lose so many games in the Championship and still get loads of points.
I mean, the thing with Ipswich, I think, looking at it last year, our away form. I
was going to come on to that. I looked at the stats. There's a lot of games. Preston, Huddersfield, Leeds, Sheffield Wednesday.
Up north.
Kind of Yorkshire, North West.
Rotherham.
If Ipswich are going to have a promotion, they've got to perform well in the. There's not that many localish, not many London games. There's only Brighton down. Do you know what I'm saying? It sounds silly, but
no, I know what you mean. And they're tough.
To,
I think of the games last year, like Leeds away. I think that was away on a Tuesday evening, and we lost when we should have. I think we lost when we should have at least got a point. I think Murphy missed a penalty. I think he did. Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, I know, and it takes it out of the team. But we're always going to have that just because we're geographically positioned, I guess.
Right,
which is another reason maybe why we sometimes don't attract certain players. Maybe I don't know. So
we're both saying 4th then.
Yeah, I'd take playoffs again. But playoffs you're secretly hoping to go a bit better. I'd take playoffs again. Of course. Yeah.
The one thing
that'd be a great season. I think if we get playoffs again, that'd be a brilliant season.
One thing that sticks in my mind, Dave, is I went to. You'll probably tell me the season early, the year that Wolves got promoted. Magilton was the Ipswich manager.
Yeah.
And I think the first or second home game was Ipswich v Wolves. McCarthy was Wolves manager.
Yeah.
And they wiped the floor with us. One of those games where it looked like 14 vs 11.
Yeah, I remember that game.
And they just
but it wasn't a big score. I think we only lost 2-0.
But they're hammered.
2-0.
Absolutely hammered.
You thought then,
and they just, this happens in this division sometimes.
Yeah.
Someone just goes and they're gone.
Yeah.
They're gone by October. Do you remember Reading that year?
Well, yeah, Reading was ridiculous. At Newcastle a few seasons ago, 6 seasons ago maybe.
And it's like, okay, all they have to do now is win 2 and draw 1 and lose 2 for every 5-game period, and they're going to get promoted.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. Draws,
draws aren't much use in 46 games.
No, they're not really. No. I mean, as I say, the away form, the home form was just bloody exceptional last year.
It was,
absolutely exceptional. I mean, it's the away form that's going to be, that's going to be the real thing that's going to.
But it just made me think that with McCarthy's management style, it hasn't changed since he managed Wolves. It's still the same. If he can get them going, settle team, he won't make any changes.
What I think about his style is, players seem to really want to play for him, and I think that's his assistant, Terry Connors. Appear to be a really strong sort of double
fans love him.
The fans love him, and I think the players do, and you hear him speak, and he's always backing his players. I think he's a hard man. He's not one to cross, is he? Not quite in the Roy Keane mould, but sorry, get back to Roy. But
always gets back to Roy.
Always, everything comes back to Roy. But no, I think he's a man. I think he's a man who could get us up. He really is, and he's got experience of doing it. He's a man. He
strikes me as a kind of long-term manager type guy. He's not maybe the guy who's going to do some miraculous tactical change that's going to win a game.
Since he's been our manager, 2.5 seasons now? 2.5, around about that, I think. Certain jobs have come up in that time, and you think, just as well we've got him now, because he'd have gone.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so the first game is on
Saturday.
Oh, sorry, just give me one more prediction before we do this. Who's going to win the division?
You've got to look at one of the teams. You always look at one of the teams that's gotten relegated. I don't know, QPR. I mean, I think QPR are just on the basis they've signed J. Emmanuel Thomas, basically.
What, for relegation?
Love the guy.
What a talented, lazy player.
What a player. Yeah. Just imagine they still had him and Tarap playing in the same midfield. That'd be like circus act, mate. That'd be awesome. Hull probably. Hull have still got Yelovich.
Have they still got Steve Bruce as well, Hull?
I believe so, yeah.
He's good manager. Good manager.
And they've got people like Yelovich.
How do you think Derby are going to do with this Paul Clement?
Yeah, I think Derby are going to be there.
Apparently on £1 million a year, Paul Clement.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What is that? Was that his standard? What? That's not his bonus. That's his basic salary now in the Championship, whether he gets them up or not. Yeah, they're going to be good. They've got Bent. They've probably got Bent for a season. Well, they've signed him now. He's their player now. So he's going to score goals at that. He's going to score. He's going to. Well, who
got promoted up from it's Preston?
MK Dons.
MK Dons. And usually one of those teams that's been winning for a while.
Yeah. Continue through.
Keeps winning.
Southampton, Norwich have done it.
Yeah, Watford. Man City.
Unbelievable, Watford. Well, there you go.
I not like that?
Do I? Linesman.
You've just lost me my job. Just if you don't know what we're talking about, go on YouTube and type in that whole documentary. I was in bed once and I was just about to go to sleep. I watched
Comedy Gold, isn't it?
Watched the whole thing.
Comedy Gold.
Made for
Phil Neal's the best though. Phil Neal on the bench sitting next to him.
You hear him talk on the radio and he sounds like the smartest bloke alive, doesn't he, Graham Taylor?
Yes, boss.
Yeah. Who are you going for then, Dave, for the champions?
Derby.
Okay, I'll go for Hull then.
All right.
Providing that Steve Bruce.
Yeah. I think Derby are going to be good
the whole time.
Derby.
Right. Okay. So the first game is on Saturday.
Yeah.
Away to Brentford.
Yeah.
Brentford surely can't be as good as they were last year.
They lost their player. They lost the guy's gone back to Spurs. They had on loan last year. This Pritchard, Alex Pritchard, who was one of the best.
And the manager left as well, didn't he?
He left, and they've got some. Yeah, he left. He's at Rangers now, isn't he?
Is he really?
Yeah, he's manager at Rangers now. Yeah.
Was it you who told me Rangers have only had like 14 managers or something ever?
I don't know if that was me.
Was that you?
I don't know.
Some ridiculous.
Did I name them or something?
You could do that with the Ipswich. I've seen you do
I could do it with the Ipswich ones, but no, not really. But no, they've got a new manager in. They've lost Pritchard. They've just lost the guy who apparently last week Ipswich were in for Stuart Dallas. Yep, that's the one. That's the one.
We'll get the screen to just split into
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but he's gone to Leeds apparently. Apparently Town were after him, but another winger. So whether they were after him or not, I don't know. But that was on the. I noticed that on good old TWTD on the forum there. So yeah, I mean, I don't think Brentford will be as strong as they were last year or achieve as much as they did last year, because they were really the surprise. They
had a brilliant
package, I suppose. But
brilliant season, didn't they?
A great season. I think they still got the young, the forward Gray, who's really nippy up front. And he knows where the goal is. But Pritchard, that in midfield last year, it was just cut above everything else. Really.
Yeah.
And he was good. He was good in the game down here. It's won the game down here. He was good in the game down here. So I think. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it'll be the game that it was last year. I mean, last year, Christ, it was Boxing Day. We're three up in like half an hour. We're 1 up in about 20 seconds.
Check my phone, thinking, nil would be nice for half-time.
I went out 3-0. I had to go out, and I came back, and we'd won 4-2, and we'd top, and I said, I think we're going to do it. This is going to be our season. And then I think the next game, we steamrolled it. It didn't play that well. I think it was Charlton.
Right.
Just before New Year, we beat them 3-0, and we think, we weren't top anymore, because I think Derby had won and gone top that day. We'd play at Boxing Day, I think it was Derby. And you think, here we go. And then it was, then we had the Derby home match where we've already dwell on that.
That sucked, didn't it?
But yeah.
So you think they're going to beat Brentford?
Are
all four forwards fit?
I believe so, yeah. I think so. I'll take a draw Saturday.
You see,
we've got 2 other players though. We haven't dwelt on them. We've got 2 other. Apparently, also yesterday is 2 trialists. They've got this Giles Coke who was from Sheffield Wednesday. Ben looks at me blankly.
Yeah.
And hang on,
Giles
Coke. Yeah.
Is he not the disgraced peer guy, Lord Coke?
No, I don't think so. No, I'm sure he's
Coke.
not the one. We've also got Larson Torres, a Guinean international.
Yaya Toure.
Guinean international.
If we've signed Yaya Toure, we're going to win every game.
It isn't, unfortunately, Yaya Toure. It did say Town signs Toure, and I did begin to get excited. I thought, God, Marcus Evans has really, released the purse strings, but sadly,
£1 million a day.
Larson Torre, who was released by. I think a French club last year. I think he's previously with Levski Safir, I think. So anyway, but I think they're just going to be squad players. But that Coke, I think, he's a midfield bit of a. I think it'll just be both those, I believe, will be sort of squad players.
This is the thing, though. You're saying I'd be happy with a draw if God forbid it is going to be a promotion season. Then away games have to be won.
I do. But first game, you don't want to be. Losing the first game. So, first game, I'd take a draw onto the home game against Sheffield Wednesday the following Saturday, I think. They've spent a bit of money. And then, of course, immediately, the Tuesday after that, you've got Burnley at home.
There's a League Cup game as well.
Okay, so Stevenage, I think.
Do you think he'll bottle that?
I don't think... Well, under McCarthy, we've never won a cup game.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows?
League Cup. Although they got to the semi-final under Burley, didn't they? Away at Birmingham.
And the duel. And the duel, of course.
Against
Arsenal, yeah.
So I'll shut up about how bad we are.
Tamis Priskin, of course. But no, I think it's pretty well known fact that since McCarthy's been there, we haven't won a cup match.
I did not know that.
Well, no, we haven't, mate. Not one. No, and we've had some shockers. I think Crawley beat us last year, I believe, in the.
I remember Northampton.
Northampton beat us. I think that was probably pre-McCarthy.
Yeah. We'll blame Keane.
Villa, I think one of his first cup games, I think, was Villa away, which fair enough. But yeah.
Right, give me a scoreline for away at Brentford.
1-1.
1-1.
Yeah. You?
Oh God,
You're going to 4-0 win, aren't you? You're going gung ho 4-0 win. Pittman off the bench with a double, a late double.
Look, don't dress up your own prediction as mine. I will go for a 2-0 victory.
Ooh. Yeah, okay.
I'll go
cool.
for it.
Are we going to keep a record? Are we going to have a little
no,
through the season? Are we going to do this?
It would just look stupid at the end. And then
true.
what I'll start doing is I'll look at the actual table and make my predictions. So at the end of the year, add exactly up to what their record was and say, well, look, I predicted Ipswich's exact record.
True. Yeah, no, let's don't dwell on that one. But no, I think the consensus is we need to improve our away form. And but again, can we expect such another great season at home? I mean, that's like
and he lost 3 games.
That's going back to like the Burley bloody late '90s seasons, isn't it? Really,
George.
For home form.
Oh, George.
Don't. Ben's going all misty-eyed now.
I'm going misty-eyed.
And some of those midweek away games he told me about and stuff.
Oh, yes. I loved it. Right, so that's us started. So this has been the Blue Monday podcast. We are on Facebook, just type in Blue Monday, and on Twitter at Blue Monday ITFC. Other opinions are available.
Incidentally, Blue Monday, we're going to have some sort of new order phased, or can we?
No, don't. There's some copyright issues.
Oh, Christ, of course. Sorry, Ben. Obviously,
you're
all over that, aren't you?
As a musician, maybe using some of my own music.
Can I do a ding, 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 ding?
That'll be the theme sheet. Yeah. Can they sue us for that one? I don't know. So yeah. Let us know what you think of Dave's predictions on the Twitter and on the Facebook. Please feel free to disagree, but don't troll us. You can follow me on Twitter at Benjamin Bloom, and we will see you next week for the Blue Monday podcast.